So we are now going to learn how to write the DoR proposal. It's a pretty straightforward process. If you've written proposals in the foundations part of the program, it's a lot of it to review. Everything I'm about to show you is also on the sheets that you can find inside your planner. If you don't have a planner, I'll show you where to find those online. Just go to any internet browser, go to the JCOS Open homepage, which I think it opens up to many computers at the school. Right here, then, in the community, you go to staff or student and parent documents, and you should find the one that says pre-walk what DoR. There you have it. This is straight from your planner. Okay, so everything we're about to go through follows this and adds a couple things that have evolved over the last few years. Okay, so how to write the DoR proposal? First of all, you need to have a passion, of course. And once you have a passion and you kind of get this idea of what you want to do to pursue it, your first paragraph describes your DoR. The opening paragraph is a preview of your entire proposal. It's like a good introduction for any paper. You should at least state your essential question, and your essential question is the one thing that you want to learn from this project. For example, if you are doing a project on learning how to raise cattle, maybe your essential question is, can a student raise a cow in the city? Something that you're going to try to figure out through this project. Okay, in the opening paragraph, you're going to summarize your idea, and you'll get deeper into that as you go through it and you flesh out those ideas. But just for now, first paragraph just simply states what your idea is. So, like, I want to raise a cow in my backyard. Then you'll say what's important to you, and then the last note there says, write as if your audience doesn't know anything about JCOS. So that just means that if you're going to say things like DoR or triad or anything that isn't in someone's normal vocabulary, that it's clear what those things mean. Okay. Once you have introduced it, then you can move on to goals and strategies. It's important that you know the difference between goals and strategies. Sometimes people think that they're the same, but in reality they're actually very different. The goal is what you want to grow and get better at. The strategy is how you'll do it. So if you have a social goal that you want to get better at confronting people that are mean to other people, maybe you're doing a DoR on anti-bullying strategies or something. So if your goal is you want to get better at confronting other people, that's something you want to get better at. Now the strategy is going to be what you're going to do to make that successful. So, a strategy for confronting other people could be when you see someone being bullied, you will confront that person immediately. You will walk right up to them. You could say you will walk around the school. You'll do one lap around the school every day looking for a way to help out someone who might be getting bullied. The strategy is going to put you in the place to make the goal successful. Okay. For your goals, you need to have at least one of each of these: social, intellectual, and personal. But you could have more. And then my second bullet point there says you want to be specific. What you're trying to work on. If it's vague, it's going to be too vague usually to really grow. So instead of saying socially, I want to make friends, you could say socially, I want to improve upon my ability with working with people outside of my social group. This gives you a chance to really look at what you need to work on. So if you are doing the project about raising a cow in your backyard that I made up a minute ago, the intellectual goal, a vague one would be, I want to learn more about animals. That's really big. But if you were specific, like I want to learn more about the eating habits of cows, then that's something that you can really attack. Okay. Strategies, again, that is the ways you're going to implement tactics so that you can reach your goals. And when you're talking about strategies, you also should talk about resources. So what will you use to obtain your goals? A lot of times people have these resources: personal strengths, knowledge, skills, people, books, motivation. The list goes on and on. You can feel free to make up your own. You don't have to use the ones I'm giving you. And then how you achieve your goals, you should come up with at least one strategy for each goal. And if your strategies don't go as planned, what will you do then? Okay. Risks and challenges. Challenges. Oops, this says STL. I should say DoR. Why is this DoR a challenge for you? It shouldn't just be something that is so easy for you. You've already done it. There's nothing to grow on. If that's the case, why do it as a project? So it should be challenging at some level. It's something you're really good at. It should be something about taking it to the next level. There should be a challenge involved getting to that next level. How will you tackle these challenges? You hopefully can foresee what obstacles will be in front of you, and then you can take this time to mention those obstacles and say how you're going to get around them. Like, for example, with my cow story I made up a minute ago, it's probably illegal for me to have a cow in my backyard, so that would be an obstacle, and I'd have to come up with a reason or way to get around that. Okay, describe your first steps. Read your next paragraph, and you don't have to do every single step of every single day that you'll be doing your DoR, but the big events. List the steps in order to completion. Some people love to put a calendar out, a blank calendar, and even work backwards. Go to the last date that the DoR is going to be due and figure out what you have to do every couple of weeks so that you will be able to have a plan to get it all done in time. It could be a timeline, it could be a list, it could be anything you want, just to show some way to show that you've thought through what your steps are going to be and you have a plan for doing that. Right. Documentation. As you know, with any project at the open school, it's up to you to document it. Your teacher doesn't document it for you. Your advisor doesn't document it. It's you. So, how will you document your progress with this project? It should not just be documentation that happens at the end where you go back and take pictures that last day when you're working with whoever you're working with. That doesn't really show that you've grown. In a worst case scenario, that's something that would probably work as last minute documentation, but to really be thoughtful and show how you've grown is really what this is all about. And then I give an example there. For DoRs that work on specific skills, this is usually some way to show your skills from the beginning to the end. So like if you are going to show how you are going to get better at playing the drums, we'll say. You could set up a video camera and show yourself playing the drums the first day, and then at the end, you could either set up a video camera, you could bring your drums into your DoR meeting, whatever you got to do to show where you're at now. You play the video at the meeting, and then you show where you're at now, and the growth is clear and obvious. Support network, another paragraph. Who is your support network for this project? And explain how you use them. I give a list there of potential support network people. It doesn't have to be anyone on this list. It could be everyone on this list. It should be something that you want to really use. It shouldn't just be something that you do just because it's a check off the box of what you need to do to write a DoR proposal. Advisors, consultants, parents, triads, shadow experiences, etc. are great support network pieces. Now there's a list. The last couple slides here are things that should be in the proposal, but they don't really have a specific place. You could include them in other paragraphs, or you can make their own paragraphs. Doesn't matter. But every DoR should include some kind of book to read, a whole book you read to enhance your knowledge or skills, and every DoR should have a shadow experience. Since those guidelines were written in the planner, we have not updated them to say these things, but it's expected that everyone has those two things. In addition to that, many advisors want students to model their DoR after a passage. Every passage has its own unique set of guidelines. And so if you were going to model it after a particular passage, you should read those guidelines, which you can find in the same place where I just showed you where the DoR sheets were on the school's website. You can read about the passages, and you can add anything necessary that you need to model it after that passage. For example, if you're going to do one model after a global awareness passage, then you will have a research paper involved. Right? More extras can go anywhere in the paper. Talk about motivation. How will you stay motivated? What are your internal and external motivators for this project? And what this means is that everyone is motivated differently. And external motivators are things that are from the outside of you motivating you to do this project. So like, My mom will ground me if I don't get this done. That's an external motivator. So think about things that other people do to you, or other like consequences or like rewards that you'll be getting for doing this. That's external. Internal is like what is inside of you that will keep me motivated. So this could be something like you have an insatiable appetite to always do your best. That's an internal motivator. So you should have time to reflect on that. And then what is your learning style? How will this knowledge help you complete this experience? If you are a kinesthetic learner, someone who needs to move around, that should play into this and how you're planning it. If you're someone who needs to sit and read a book before you learn, that should play into this. Okay? Then finally, your conclusion. In the conclusion, I'm going to read the second bullet point first. It says the final paragraph should be a summary of everything else you've already written. At a minimum, it should restate your essential question from your first paragraph, explain again why it's important to you, also from your first paragraph, and explain how you know when it's done. And then at the top there it says, state how you know it's done. This explains it a little more. First of all, clear, obtainable goals are good. That means something that you can actually, tangibly complete. And I gave 2 examples. So if you were going to do a DoR about learning to climb or learning to be out in the woods or something, and your big challenge was going to be to climb your first 14er, instead of saying, I want to be better at climbing, is how I'll know I'm done, you set the goal so it's specific. I'll be able to climb a 14er. And then I did another one there for Spanish. Instead of I'll know more Spanish, which is very vague, set a goal that you can actually accomplish and know when it's done. I'll be able to read an entire book in Spanish would be that goal. Okay? That's it. We will spend some time in class working on this. Please get to work.